Hey guys, it's Taylor and I'm back with another nail video. We're gonna get straight into it. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how I do my super sharp stilettos. Her nail beds have already been prepped and now I'm just going in and trimming any excess so that her nails don't lift from the bottom. I've already sized all her tips, so now I'm just applying them. I'm making sure that the tips fit sidewall to sidewall. Now that her tips are on, I'm just gonna go in and cut down to the length that she chose, which was long. Even though these nails are a little bit longer than I usually do the long nails, because I'm doing stilettos, I'm leaving a little bit of extra length just for filing purposes because they're gonna get a little bit shorter, just a tad. Once I'm finished cutting down the tips on the first hand, I'm gonna use this hand as a guide to make sure all the nails are even with the second hand. Crossing your client's hand one on top of the other does help. It helps with the positioning and it's much easier to see both nails. Now I'm gonna check all the nails to make sure that all the side walls are lining up. I want everything to be even so that I have a smooth application. I've showed these nail tips in an earlier video. These are the 3XL no C-curve square tips and I found them on Amazon. I love these tips. I use them all the time. And as you can see, these nails don't require any shaping if you're going for a natural square shape. In my opinion, this step is not actually necessary when you're going for a stiletto shape. However, I decided to do it anyway, just for personal preference. I have my drill on a medium to low speed, or low to medium speed, and I'm just using a soft sanding band to blend the tips into the natural nail. Now I'm just gonna use a fluffy brush. This was actually a barber brush that they use for haircuts, and I got that off of Amazon a while back. And I'm just removing the dust, and now is where we discuss the shape that she wants, which of course is going to be stiletto. So I'm also just gonna check the nails. I think I noticed that one of the thumbs was a little bit too long for the rest of the nails, so I went ahead and I fixed that before continuing. I love these scissors. They're really sharp. I got them off Amazon. Pretty much anybody that I know that does nails has these same scissors or something similar, but they're really sharp, so be careful. When I'm doing the stilettos, I'm trying to, basically, I'm looking at the natural square shape and I'm imagining a triangle. Like basically you're gonna imagine a triangle and you're gonna begin to cut. Because these scissors are so sharp, I'm not taking my scissors all the way up to the nail. What I'm gonna do is create the stiletto shape, and then I'm going to pull upward on the part that I've already cut. This is for safety purposes. You do not have to take the scissors all the way up to the side walls of the natural nail because we're going to use our hand file. Now that I have my basic shape, I'm going to use an 80/80 grit hand file to go up under the sides of the nail. So for every finger, I'm just lining up the bottom to make sure everything is straight. Now is when you're going to bring in the sides of your stiletto. For each side of the nail, I'm holding my hand file diagonally to create the stiletto shape from both sides. So try to remember, well, you don't really have to remember how many times you file up and down, but you want to make sure that you're kind of going side to side. So you want to make sure that your nail is not leaning more towards one side than the other side. So try to spend an even amount of time on each side of the nail. I'm focusing my hand file on the top half of the nail. To create the stiletto point, I'm going to slowly bring my file down towards the tip of the nail, and I'm only filing that portion. You don't want to dig too deep into the side walls of the top half of the nail, where the natural nail bed meets the tip. You don't want to make that part too skinny. For video length purposes, you're only going to be seeing me shaping one hand, but just know once I finish shaping both hands, I go back and I double check each nail to make sure that they're the same on both hands. By the same, I mean both thumbs being the same width, like the same width, and also making sure that all of my tips are the same amount of sharp. Like, I hope that made sense. Like, it didn't, but the same sharpness. So I don't want one of the hands to be dull and one of the hands to be pointy. You see? Like, they both look pretty much the same. Now I'm going in with my Dehydrator, and I'm using Mia's Secret, and then I'm also going to go in with my primer. That's Mia's Secret as well, and I'm just applying that only to the natural nail bed. It's not necessary to put Dehydrator and primer on the tips of the nails. Primer is what's going to allow the acrylic to adhere to the natural nail. That's why it's important to make sure that you're prepping your nails properly. I will make a separate video on how, like, just strictly nail prepping. Usually once I'm getting to this part when I'm recording videos, I'm starting where the natural nail beds have already been prepped. I'm using the color Nude, and it's from Dynamic Nail Supply. And now I'm going into the acrylic application. I don't know why I be working so backwards. I don't know why I started with the ring finger. I don't know. That just must have been how it's feeling. But I want you guys to notice how I'm doing the application for stilettos. For my first bead, I pick up a large enough bead to cover the entire tip of the nail. My second bead is the apex bead, and the third bead is my cuticle bead. do go in and I check these nails as I'm going. Sometimes you will need a 4th bead depending on how large your depending on how large your apex bead was. If it was not large enough, you will have to go in and fill in a gap. But if it's not necessary, then you can just continue. When working with acrylic, I'm sure you've heard it before, but gravity is your best friend. So notice how the acrylic is kind of flowing down the nail on its own, and that's because I'm holding her fingers at a downward angle. My apex bead was too small here, so you will be able to see me go back in and fill in a gap. You're gonna see me looking at the nail from different angles because I noticed that there was a gap there. So when filling a gap, you're gonna add a smaller bead of acrylic and you're gonna make sure you're drying it off on the paper towel. Then you're gonna swipe upward on the bead and swipe downward. You do not want to brush away the center of the bead. If you do brush it away, the gap will not be filled. When working with acrylic, besides learning what size beads to pick up, one of the most difficult parts would be learning how to work with a soft hand. So basically when applying acrylic, you want to be using a soft hand because if not, you will be brushing away all of your acrylic. I've seen a lot of times, and when I first started, I was swiping at the acrylic, dragging at the acrylic, not allowing the acrylic to sit on the nail before bringing it down. And all that does is allow the acrylic to get stuck in your brush. And then you'll be spending more time cleaning your brush than the actual application. You want to be using a patting motion instead of a dragging motion. Now I'm checking my thumb, and of course there's a large gap right in the center, so I'm drying off another bead on the paper towel, and I'm using a light hand to pat upward and pat downward. Now that we're all finished with our acrylic application, we're gonna go back in for our reshaping. So with the 80/80 grit hand file, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with shaping our tips. I'm taking the file and going up underneath the sides of the nail to make sure everything is even, everything is straight, and to get any remaining acrylic that may have gotten underneath the nail. We were watching cheater videos, of course, so you're gonna hear that in the background. Now that we've gone underneath the nails, we're gonna start bringing back in our shape. So again, at a diagonal with the file pressed straight up against the nail, we're gonna bring back in our stiletto. Again, you want to focus on the top portion of the nail first to make sure that everything's blending in with the side walls of the nail. And then slowly you're going to just work your way down to the tips of the nail, and that's how you're going to get that sharp, crispy shape. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and watch the filing and shaping portion, and I'll be back when it's time for designs.
I mean, you know about this? No. You don't have to for like 6 months. How long are you dating her for? You guys are best friends? We just friends with little too. Wait, why are you not telling her about this? I was gonna tell her, but she was like talking to me, like not to let her know. What does that mean? Like he wasn't trying to tell her. Why would you do this? I don't know. You knew he wasn't a thing. A thing? I mean, really wasn't seem like that. Oh. Oh my God. Did you too? I mean, hello.
None of them friends.
What?
Because that means she was sleeping around with her boyfriend.
Wait. We got planning. He's doing the planning right now, the process. How long are y'all together for though? Alright, 2 years? 2 years, shit. Alright, so almost 2 years, I guess I'm loyal this whole time.
Now I'm using my hand file to smooth the entire top path of the nail. So I'm not trying to really like file down any bulk. I didn't have much bulk, so I'm just taking my file and I'm filing the sides of the nail, and then I'm gonna file straight across the top. I'm trying to make the entire tip of this nail white, and that's how I know that everything is smooth straight across.
Hold on. Give her the phone back. I want you to call Jake, and I want you to talk to him and see how he talks to you.
Hello? What's up? What are you doing? Listen, just while you're chilling, I had to ask you something. Remember how you sent me that money? The 1,000? What did I do? What did I do for the 1,000?
You know, you use that much too much peanut butter that I like.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean by peanut butter? You know what's going on right now? It doesn't matter. We're her fiance. Fiance? You got a whole fiance. And you over here. You're not being with the peanut butter ring. So, are you guys single or have a boyfriend?
It's complicated.
Thanks, man. How much of?
I have a full boyfriend.
Okay, so look, you know her boyfriend?
I do.
How well do you know her boyfriend?
Very well.
Alright, so for a second, I want you to call her boyfriend on your phone, and I want you to fly with him behind her back. I'm going to chat. Is that okay with you?
Do you have his number?
Do you have a number?
I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea.
Why? What do you mean, why?
I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. Like,
Why not though? Why not though?
I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea.
But the way it has to work, you have to call him though on her phone. So, okay, hold on, phone real quick. Are you so hesitant? Chill. What are we talking about? What's going on?
What the is this? Why are you texting him?
Texting who?
My boyfriend.
That's your boyfriend?
Bro, what the is this?
Well, what's the message? What are we talking about?
I'll miss you, baby. What the is this? You and your baby, bro. I'm not your godmother anymore. Here, here's your baby.
Alright, so let's say what happens in Vegas stays in. Alright, so is that true? Okay, well listen.
This could be true.
Okay, well listen, are you guys like best friends by chance?
Yeah, we can put the photo.
Let's go. Wait, let's go. This is crazy.
Hello?
What? Can you read me? Wait, hold on. to this. You go over to this. You bring to this. That's your phone. That's your phone. Brother. That's your phone. That's your phone.
Why is Chloe cheating on you? Why would she cheat on you? Like, listen, you ain't the boss.
Save on top activewear. They're everywhere.
Once you've buffed the entire surface of the nails, you're gonna go and have your client wash their hands. As you can see, at the time it's 12:08 and I was just beginning the designs. I did the first 2 nails for Instagram and now I'm going to be doing the rest of them. Put her nails in the lamp before applying the top coat. Comment down below if you will wear your nails this sharp. Why it cut off while I was doing the pinky, but it's alright. Once I was finished curing, I went ahead and applied some lotion to her hands. As you can see, it's 12:23, so I think it took me maybe about 15 minutes to complete this entire design. This was the look that she was going for, and this is what we were able to recreate. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. See y'all!